Suit up, strap in, warm the tires, and leave on yellow. Time for the MitsuTimes podcast. Presented by MitsuTimes.org, the home of the fastest Mitsubishi cars. With your host, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Josh from MitsuTimes. Today, my guest is Gilberto Cruz. He is the owner of Clubspec Chicago. How you doing today, Gilberto?
I am doing great. How about you?
Man, I'm doing spectacular. I'm so glad to have you on. I know we've been trying to nail this down for a while. We're both pretty busy people, seems like. So to get you on and to spread some love to the Rally Art folks, I love that.
Well, thank you for having me. Yes, a little bit of phone tag here and there to get this going, and a little bit of laziness on my end too. So just been busy also.
Yeah, it's shaping up into the time where everybody wants to upgrade their cars. So I'm sure you've been very busy.
A little bit. It's been a little slower these last few years, but we're still going strong. So
good.
Yes, it is the time of the year.
So Gilberto, I want to start off with how, when, and why Clubspec Chicago got started.
Well, technically, legally, it started in 2019. But I've been making parts for the community since maybe 2012. Shortly after I purchased my Rally Art, I started doing I was an AMS fanboy, so one of my big first purchases was a full exhaust. And unfortunately, it was single exit exhaust. I didn't do a dual, but being from Chicago, I had to have the AMS parts on there. So I got that, and I hated that the exhaust was made a single, but the car requires a dual exhaust tip. So one of those ports would be empty on the rear bumper.
Oh, yeah.
So I took it upon myself, made a little fiberglass cover for it. And then people just started asking me for that. And then a friend of mine asked me to make a brake brace for the master cylinder. And I was like, challenge accepted. And that was my first part that I released in large scale. And it wasn't even really large scale. I think I only made like 40 units. But it was a funny story behind that is, I downloaded some software, taught myself how to CAD, and I made this monstrosity, and I took it down to a local CNC shop, and they're like, you need to start all over, bud. This is not going to work. And so they explained to me the ways it wouldn't work and how I needed to fix it. So I went back to the drawing board, we did it, simplified it, because I didn't understand how the CNCs worked completely. I just thought, send them stuff that you think looks good.
Right.
He's like, this is going to take about 20 setups, and each setup takes time, and all that time is money, so you need to simplify it to the least amount of setups possible. So I figured it out, simplified it, and then that's history. So that was probably around 2012,
wow.
2013, when I made my first part. And then from there, I tried out different things here and there. Then probably around 2017, 2018 is when I just went all in on just designing. I got proficient at the CAM and CAD software. And I just, whatever I thought was missing, whatever I thought was needed, I'd search the forums, I'd search the Facebook pages, what people were looking for, what people needed. I'd go and see what other platforms were doing, go to the car shows, the car meets, and look under people's hoods, and stuff that I seen was lacking, or stuff that I think that I could adapt to our platform, I'd bring it in. So
that's pretty awesome.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I always assumed that you were a machinist or something by day because your parts are just flawless.
Well, thank you. No, I am self-taught.
Wow.
YouTube. I'm a YouTube scholar, so I learned from YouTube. Yeah, I got my PhD on YouTube. So yeah, I taught myself how to do it. Many hours of YouTube, and then just seeing how things work and just improving on them, or in some cases, like I've got a couple items that are tributes to some JDM parts, like my shifter extension for the SST is a tribute to the Colt one. That one, I just looked at the picture. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that better. And made a design, 3D printed it, threw it on there, adjusted it, and 3 months later, I got a working prototype. So, and that's 3 months later because Clubspec is my side hustle.
Right.
I've actually got a full-time job outside of this, and there's nothing into engineering or nothing into making parts. So it's more in sales.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I saw I believe it's your engine cover 2 version 2 at the shootout on a Evo 10, and I thought, man, this is my first time seeing one of your products in person. And that's why I was like, this guy has to be a machinist or like a CNC person or something, because this just looks so good.
It's a lot of trial and error back when I first started. Now I've got the science down. The CAD software, I've learned how to use it better, and it helps me like stress test it in the software, and I can do all that through there now that I've taught myself how to do that. So
awesome. So Gilberto, I know there's a huge, probably close to 1,000, if not more, products that you offer, but I just want to have go over a brief catalog, if you will, to let people know what kind of parts you offer.
Well, I wouldn't say there's thousands. I mean, maybe with all the variations in the colors, yes, I have close to 1,000 SKUs. But honestly, I try to focus on the decorative. When I was young, I enjoyed going to the car shows, going to the meets, seeing the cars. That was the most I could afford, was just to go and look. So I'd like to see, and then plus also I love the lowrider community and just all the stuff all the effort they put into their engine bays, and it's all about the look for them. Right. That's what I wanted to expand. There really isn't a lot of support for the Evo 10, the Rally Art, or the Outlander. So I found that niche and I put myself in there, and then I just started producing parts for it. Mostly decorative. There's a few items that I sell, like my relocation kit, and that one came out of more necessity for competition, and then just because they weren't no longer in the game, and my soon-to-be released cooler kit for the SST. But most everything else that I sell is decorative.
So I wanted to talk about the SST cooler kit because that's a big issue with the SST folks. So I want to talk about what this kit is and how it works and how it can improve the life of the SST.
Well, I have 2 versions, and I used this. I had this before. I had this kit before in the past, and I wasn't able to produce it at a scale to make it profitable, so I let it go. But I've improved my processes now, so I'm able to make it now and not lose my shirt on it anymore. So the kit, how it helps the SST is it provides more cooling surface area. The cooler is about 50% bigger. So it gives you more surface area to keep the temperatures down on your oil and your transmission fluid. And then it also holds half a liter more, so you get more volume out of that. So that'll allow you to also keep the cooler temperatures. And as everybody knows with the SST, it's important to keep it within the operating temperature. Not too hot, not too cold. It's got the sweet spot, so that way you can extend the life of your clutches and your transmission. Now, the kit does offer, you could upgrade to get a fan, and that fan will be hooked up to whatever switch that the owner prefers. You know, you can do a thermostatic switch or just a little switch on the console somewhere. For those individuals that are going to track their cars or are going to run it down the drag strip, or they want to flip that on to help them get back for the next run a little quicker. The kit will have has braided lines or rubber lines, depending on which version you get, just to keep you from losing any fluid on the track. And hopefully in the near future, we'll be able to bundle it with my little adapter plate that I'm making for the SST, so you can run an aftermarket filter instead of the filter that comes with the SST.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've been working on that. I wanted to get this done before I finish that up, so that way it could be a bundle package in the future if people are interested in it. I've gotten a prototype made, and I'm just looking to finalize. Obviously, I need to have a vehicle to test it on. I do have some volunteers, but I want to make sure it's right on my car before I send it out to somebody else's, just in case there's any issues. It's on me.
That's pretty cool. I love that the SST is so looked down upon within the performance community, and I love that you're kind of helping keep it up there with, just because you have an SST doesn't mean it's the end of the world or that you can't race your car.
No, yeah, there's a lot of strong cars out there with SST.
For sure.
Ours does have a few shortcomings, but as long as you take care of it, it'll take care of you. Like I said, like I mentioned before we started, my SST's got 250,000 miles on it, and been running about 500 horsepower at the wheels. So it's a strong unit. It can handle it.
Just got to be taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, there's some unlucky cases here or there, but for the most part, as long as you take care of it, it's going to take care of you.
So, Gilberto, I wanted to talk about, you talked about filling the niche void for the Evo 10, the Rally Art, and the Outlander. What is it that, gives you the motivation to fill that niche market?
Honestly, it was more selfishness, since I have that car. Since I have a Rally Art and the Evo 10 are, most of those parts are interchangeable, and then the Outlander has a few carryover items that'll fit it. So, and it was the fact that those cars are accessible to me within my area, within my group, my network. So, I do plan to expand. I did try to expand a little bit before in the Hyundai community, but I didn't have much luck there. But I also didn't focus that much into it. But I do plan to expand a little outward into a couple other categories and a couple other platforms. But since I do have the Rally Art, the Evo 10s available to me, I'm not going to stop producing for them as long as there's desire. And I've geared my business to be able to do some lower volume things, so that way, I can try to take care of some niche items that people have asked for.
Yeah.
Like I did do a collaboration with a group to produce a specific item for them. And, we made a small batch. Their people, their members picked up the parts, and I had a few left over, sold those out. And I was able to do that for them, and I'm not opposed to doing it as long as it's hard to do for like 2 or 3 people.
Right.
But if there's a big enough group, I can do it. It's just because I'm going to pass on the costs to the consumer,
right?
If they want something custom, because I can't take take the hit on all of it. I mean, I'll put my time into it at no charge for a group, as long as they're committed and as long as they're wanting the part and they have the customer base for it. I don't have a problem putting the time because I want to see this community grow. So, and like with, as we all know, that the Evo 10, that platform is dead. The Lancer platform is dead through Mitsubishi. So, not a lot of the larger parts producers out there are sticking with it because, you know, there's no incentive for them to do so.
Right. Pretty soon people are going to have to move on because there just won't be any cars available.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Gilberto, one of the most popular things about your company is the free shipping when you order so much. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Well, it's pretty straightforward. If you spend $200 or more in the U.S., you are eligible for free shipping. It's automatic on the website once you pass that threshold. That's before taxes. And then a little thing that isn't known, if you are either in Canada or Mexico, you can get free shipping on orders over $1,250 or more. So if you're looking to do a group purchase or something, you know, for neighbors and friends, you know, you'd be able to ship that out there for free if you exceed that sales amount. And I also, one thing, since we're talking about shipping, my website doesn't allow shipping automatically calculated on the website for anything other than Canada, Mexico, or the U.S. But we do ship worldwide. I think up to today I've shipped to 40 different countries. Actually, I just shipped something out earlier this week to Hungary. And I think I've been to almost every continent except for Antarctica. So I'm pretty excited about that. Even have a big following in Singapore, Australia, and, you know, JDM's shown me some love. I've sent several packages out to Japan. So.
Heck yeah. The Canadian boys, they have a huge following for these rally arts, so
yes, they do.
They need to get on the website and get some stuff from you. So, Gilberto, I wanted to talk about what does the future of Clubspec look like? Not just, I mean, we can talk about what products you plan to offer in the future, but, you know, are there any platforms that you're considering within the Mitsubishi community to expanding to?
Well, I am looking to get into the Evo 8, Evo 9, and maybe even into the Eclipse. Now, some of my parts already do work on the Evo 8s, like my dipsticks and a couple of my caps will work down onto the Evo 8, Evo 9, and even into the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the third gen, and I think the second gen. My dipsticks will work for those. I do plan on focusing on the Mitsubishi community. That'll be my core. But I do plan to expand on a couple of platforms now. I'm currently working on parts for the Ford Focus ST.
Okay.
The MK3. And then, and I mentioned earlier offline that my son has a G37, so I'm looking at that and seeing that there's a few things that I can offer that community also. Okay. Mostly engine covers for that car and for the Ford Focus, but a few accessories I've already started working on. I already have a dipstick. I have some prototypes of the aluminum caps for those cars. And then I've also looked into the Subaru. My goal is to do, like, currently a lot of my my production is done with local businesses. I try to support a lot of local businesses if possible. So I don't do anything in-house, but I've got a machine shop down the road. I got a water jet shop down the road. My powder coaters also down the road. All these are within 15, 20-minute drive from me. Wow. And then my CNC metal braking service is also down the road. I do have an anodizing service that I do ship to. They're right across the lake over in Michigan, in Jackson. that I send all my parts for anodizing to. It's a small shop out of there. But I do plan on picking up a few CNC machines to have at my warehouse, so that way I can start producing a few of these items myself.
Wow. Heck yeah. That's awesome, man. That's huge. That's got to be pretty exciting for the future.
Yeah, pretty excited. Pretty scary, too, you know. Those are big investments.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's more time on my end that I'd have to spend learning them or hire somebody to do that. So, but I'm ready for that next step.
Heck yeah, that's really cool. I wish I could be see that happen. That's going to be a great day to see those machines show up to the warehouse.
I might have to move, though. My warehouse isn't that big, so
might outgrow it.
Probably have to get a larger space. Yeah.
So, Gilberto, I want to talk about your background in Mitsubishi cars. I know you said that you drive a Rally Art, and that's also, the test mule for a lot of these parts. Are there any other, what is it that drew you to the Rally Art?
I've been a Mitsubishi fan for quite some time now. Honestly, I wasn't able to get into the car scene up until, the last 10 years of my life, last 15 years of my life. Before then, I started my family pretty young. So, obviously I had more important commitments. So I wasn't able to get into that scene. But my brother was pretty big. He had a pretty nice GSX back in the day.
Nice.
Had it all done up, had a built engine in it. So, I really got into it from that. And he was a really big car guy back in the day. So, and that's my younger brother. So I found love for them. And then I purchased a Mitsubishi, just a Lancer, nothing fancy, but, did some things to that, and I just always stuck with Mitsubishi. And then, I was out car shopping, and I seen the Rally Art. I was looking at the Evo, and I'm just like, I like this blue. And I'm like, can't be that different. Little did I know about the SST. So I picked up the Rally Art because it was there, didn't have to wait for it, and sometimes I'm that instant gratification type of guy. But I don't regret it. It's been a great car for me. So
that's awesome. I love that. That's a great love story.
Yeah.
So, Gilberto, I want to talk about your goals for this year. I know you you got some parts coming out. Is there anything that you want to achieve for the company?
I don't. I'm being cautious this year. I haven't. I've invested a lot already in this year. I'm trying to be a little cautious because I'm watching where the market's going and see how if we're going to be dipping into a harder recession. So I'm trying to play it safe. I haven't wanted to go too deep and then find myself in a place where you're seeing a lot of these car shops go to because they're over leveraged and then they can't pull themselves out of it. Right. So I run my ship pretty tight. Like I said, this is a side hustle, so I don't really have a lot of overhead, so I'm able to just manage and cut back my expenses pretty good, and then just able to make. I should be able to make it through without a problem. But I have spent quite a bit of money. I just received 100 relocation kits. I did another batch of my bonnet vents since I sold out of them, and I ordered 50 units of the coolers for the new cooler kits. So I have put in a good $30,000 back into the business this year, and if everything goes well up until the first half of the year, then I'll be able to go in a little bit harder for the remaining part of the year. Okay. That's my goal, is to be able to maintain and not risk the business.
Yeah.
Just because there are uncertain times right now. We don't know what's going to happen. And then with this new election cycle, it might get a little crazy, and, everything else that's going on. I don't want to get too political, but...
Yeah, I don't think anybody could blame you there. Things are getting crazy. So, Gilberto, are there any events this year that we could come out and see your parts in person or talk to you in person?
Unfortunately, I don't have the time to go to many events, and if I do, it's at just like off a whim, just like if I decide I want to go, or if my son says, "Hey, let's go to this car meet," then I'll show up there and I'll bring some swag with me usually and hand it out if I see some cars or talk to some people. It's unfortunate because I do have. I did invest a couple of years ago into getting a bunch of stuff for those events. I've got a tent. I've got a few displays that I had fabricated for me. And the goal was to leave my job for Clubspec, leave my full-time job. But then COVID hit.
Yeah.
So then I had to rethink. Stuff slowed down. Some things got better. Some things got worse. So I had to reevaluate and see if there would have been a good idea to. And, I could probably pull it off, but it might be very difficult.
Yeah.
And I may not be able to grow the business as much as I've been able to because of the constraints I would put on it financially for myself. So that is one of the things that I have to give up, is going to events as a business. And like I said, I have a lot of equipment. I don't have everything, but I have, like I said, canopies and displays and some banners at the warehouse just packed away for looking for a time where I'm able to make it to an event.
Yeah. Well, let's hope in the future you're able to make it out and put that stuff to use.
Mm-hmm. Yes. It's a pretty bad investment right now if it's just sitting in the warehouse.
Yep. That stuff's not cheap either. I hope people understand that.
Yeah. It adds up pretty quickly. Those banners, you'd be surprised how much they run.
Absolutely. And those canopies. Golly.
Yeah.
Well, Gilberto, I gave Instagram a chance, and Facebook, to ask you some questions and, allow the community to talk to you and get these answers that, people are looking for. So I want to go ahead and give those to you. The first one was from your and my good friend Miguel. He said, when can we expect your car to be back on the road? And talking to you, it sounds like you drove it last week, but maybe he's talking about back at the track.
Yes. Mikey, I'll get it out this year. We'll be good to go.
Awesome. I know you got some good tracks up there, so I'm jealous of your location.
Yeah, we got Great Lakes Speedway, and we got Byron Speedway and Joliet, all within. Well, Joliet's a bit further. That's about a 2-hour drive, but the other two are about an hour drive.
Yeah.
I enjoy Great Lakes Dragway.
Yeah.
So that's the one I would go to. Even go up there by myself a few times to make a few runs. Obviously, that's not as fun because there's nobody to go against other than some randoms, and plus, then you have to keep all your car loaded up with all that extra weight for no reason.
Yep.
So
if it's good enough for the Demons Run 6s, it's good enough for anybody.
Yeah.
So also another one, Gilberto, I mean, we know that you're very passionate about the community. This question was, what ways do you plan on keeping the Evo community alive, even though the Evo is no longer in production? But that really goes for, not just the Evo not being in production, but the Lancer, the Rally Art, and now the Outlander Sport is a rebadged Nissan. So, but you're going to keep making these parts.
That is true. I'm not going to stop until I literally don't have any more orders. And I'm not going to stop developing. like I said, I've updated a few designs to work with the car. I just invested in, $30,000 into more parts. I'm not stopping. And if you look out there, you still see companies producing parts for the 98s, 97 Eclipses, and even the 1G.
Yeah, even the 80 Starions.
Eclipses and the Talons, and so I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, and I don't plan on stopping the design process. That's the part I enjoy the most, is thinking of an idea, designing it, and getting it right. Sometimes some of the ideas I have, they don't work out, or they don't show enough interest, and that's the good thing with being a small business and being the only person there, is I can afford to make a couple mistakes, and I learn from them, and I adapt, and I'm able to come out with something a little better, or something that works. Or sometimes I probably got about 50 different items I've designed, maybe close to 100 items I've designed that didn't show a lot of interest. I didn't have a lot of people interested in them, so I just shelved them, and then I'll revisit them in a year, see if I can get anything else out of it, or if I can redo it where it'll appeal to more people. And so I don't plan on giving up on the community, because honestly, for me, it's not really all about the money. As long as the business pays for itself, and it pays for my car habit, then I'm good with spending my time making stuff up for no compensation.
Yeah. Your passion's not going to slow down, it sounds like. So
yeah.
I think the parts aren't going to slow down.
Nope.
That's awesome. So, Gilberto, I wanted to give you a chance to put your social medias and your website out there so that people can go and find these parts and see, the creative stuff that you're continuously making.
Well, you can follow me on Instagram.com/clubspec.chicago. On Facebook, and Facebook.com/ClubspecChicago, no period in that one. My website is ClubspecChicago.com, and I just created a TikTok, but I haven't put anything up, but that's TikTok.com @Clubspec.Chicago. Those are all the socials I have at the moment.
Heck yeah. So, Gilberto, at the end, I always give people a chance to give a thanks or a shout-out to anyone who's helped them out, help get their company where it is. Is there anybody that you want to give a shout-out to?
Miguel, Mikey Melendez, he's been my guinea pig for a lot of stuff. When I'm not able to do it on my car, I appreciate everything he has helped me with. All those times he's dropped what he's doing so I could go over and fit something onto his car, test it out, or vice versa. When he came out this way to visit me, he's about an hour out from me, so it was a big deal for him to drop what he was doing to come out so I can fit something. My friend Greg, he's the one that got me to make that first part and sent me down this journey. I appreciate everything, and the guy will try to slip an order in every now and then, and I have to cancel his order and just ship it for him, because without him, this wouldn't exist.
That's awesome.
And then, shout out to Kyle. He's helped me fix my car and break my car, but mostly fix my car when I had questions or needed his help. And P.S. Kyle, I might be working on some fog light deletes. Maybe not. And big shout out to the Rally Art community. They were the ones that started buying my stuff first and showed demand and got me to invest more into this company.
Like, yeah, it's definitely a tight-knit community, a lot tighter than a lot of the Mitsubishi communities.
It can, yes, it is.
Well, Gilberto, I wanted to say thank you for coming on as a sponsor for the Rally Art class. And, it's constantly one of the most clicked on categories. So obviously the Rally Art guys are interested in making their cars go fast and look good thanks to your parts. So thank you. I'm glad that we get to keep working together. And I hope that we get to see some more Rally Arts, including yours, on the list.
Yes, let's hope so. You keep me on my toes. Keep pressing me to get that car out there so I can get your number on the slip.
Will do. You got it. I'm good at that. All right, Gilberto. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad that we got a chance to do this, and I hope to see an update from you soon.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for listening to the MitsuTimes podcast. Check out our Instagram and Facebook for daily updates. Get added to our list by going to MitsuTimes.org and clicking Submit a Slip. Thank you to all of our sponsors.